What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of X Factor Fantasy Football. This is your boy Swipa with Jenna, with Jordan, and we are tapping into week 8. We had a lot that happened last week, a lot to get into. We got Monday Night Football, Detroit versus the Raiders, all on deck as well. So a lot of stuff to tap into, but y'all know this is one of your favorite places to get your fantasy football content. We've been helping you win your matchups and maybe feel better about yourself if you've been losing. Now, if you've been like myself, we can tap into a lot of great conversations to have in the last 4 weeks. But Jenna, how are you doing? And brother Jordan, how are you doing today?
Doing great. In a dogfight right now. It's literally tied. So
that's a fact.
It's one player versus one player, two receivers against each other tonight for the matchup. So hometown team anyway, I'll be tuned in. I might try to go down in the game. I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah. You should definitely. That's going to be interesting for the Monday Night Football game for sure for you. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm winning pretty handedly. Feel pretty good about it. Both my leagues. I did decide to play Kirk Cousins over Joe Burrow, and he outplayed Kirk this week. So probably a mistake on my part. I just went with, like we talked about a few times on here, like who's been consistently giving me those numbers. And, you know, the 1 week I did play Joe, he kind of performed at the same level as Kirk. So until this week. So hopefully it's a turnaround for Burrow, and it's Burrow all the way here on out. We'll see.
Well, I mean, yeah, and unfortunately, obviously, part of fantasy football nobody loves talking about. Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles this last weekend, and obviously that's, terrible for him. This is a contract year as well. He didn't have any remaining on this deal, so obviously you hope the best for Kirk. I think he's a really good quarterback. He was having a really good season this year, and even has some, got a nice little late night football win that people said he couldn't do. So I think really shout out to him, obviously hoping and praying for him to heal quickly as possible. But if we tap into it, best performances, y'all. Again, this is not about gloating. This is about celebrating with your friends and your family and your loved ones. Jenna is my sister. Jordan is my brother. They care for my success like I care for their success. When Jenna has the #1 record, when Jordan is drafted well, has a great strategy, somehow gave up Alvin Kamara, which apparently is the running back one the rest of the way, which is crazy. But, yo, I don't know. How many? I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4 victories in a row.
After those 4 losses in a row. So
yeah, right. And guess what?
Got to keep you humble, bro.
Nah, if you got injuries, I get it. I understand it. You got to work around injuries. But you know what? Saquon, Cooper Kupp, by the way, we'll talk about him in a little bit later. I don't know what's going on that often. Even Puka. I looked at Jordan. I looked at Puka's numbers like, wait a minute, it's Kupp. It's all the reps and the targets going in. Nope. Nobody went off. So we're going to tap into that as well. But y'all, if we talk about best performances, apparently, look, the Cowboy defense is good versus mid-teams. We've all can acknowledge that. So they're playing a mid-team. They're going to play well. But y'all, best performances. Y'all, Jen already set it up. Joe Burrow had 283 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 1 less touchdown than he had incompletions versus the vaunted San Francisco 49ers defense. Just an amazing performance from Joe Burrow. And then on the other side of that, the #1 receiver for Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, yet another week with a top 4 finish. He had 25 points, 10 receptions, 100 yards, and a touchdown on 12 targets. And he is absolutely going off. So obviously it's somebody who has a vested interest in their success. All the early season stuff, Jordan and Jenna, that we talked about, wondering if they were going to be able to perform, get out of that little sinkhole they were in. Last few weeks, booming. And so maybe this is a sign of things to come.
That's why I said bet on the talent. It was always going to happen. It's just a matter of winning if you can be patient. So I'm not surprised at all.
Right.
Yeah, I got to shout out A.J. Brown, too. He was one of my best performances this week. He's really given it a run for between him and Tyreek, who's the best player to have on your fantasy team. And it wasn't like Tyreek was the first pick in a lot of drafts. He might have been the first pick in our draft. I don't remember. But I got AJ, and I was the 12th pick in our draft. So even if I got him in the first round, I'm taking him 12th, maybe 13th. Right. I don't even know when I took him, but he's just going off. His performance is out of this world. I probably potentially don't win this week without him. And on 8 catches is pretty crazy.
Yeah. So ever since that, go ahead, Jordan.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was going to say, Jordan, ever since that 1 week where he complained on the sideline versus Minnesota, 22, 38, 18, 20, 29-33. Locked
I'm
in.
sorry,
Locked
complained
in.
or advocated for himself?
Look, either way, it worked out. I don't really care. It worked out either way.
Yes, so I'm actually going to go with somebody who I left on my bench. I'm going to go with D-Hop. He had 3 touchdowns like within the first half. He had 3 catches for 3 touchdowns, I believe. I think that's one of those situations where, yeah, you're sad you left the guy on a bench, but I think the quarterback, the fact that the quarterback swap went 1-for-1 with him performing well, I think that bodes well for my team moving forward and for that offense moving forward as well. So, and both of them are going to be there. D-Hop and D. Henry are going to be there, so they're not getting traded. So I'm going to go with D-Hop. Hopefully it's a sign of things to come. But also, I got to say CD as well. I mean, but I mean, CD is CD though. D-Hop, we've been kind of waiting on.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
CD,
I'm not gonna hold you. I wasn't expecting CD to go off like that. Not this, at least not like, to the point of 41 points all the week.
Yeah, 41 is a bit, yeah.
But how much of that is your doubt in CD or your doubt in Dak?
Well, here's the thing: the Rams have played up to level, and honestly, they started the game off like with multiple sacks, and I was like, okay, well, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a dogfight. Once that drive was over, it was a wrap, and they just completely forgot how to guard CeeDee Lamb. Witherspoon was getting toasted. They just could not zone up properly, and they just couldn't get enough pressure. I was looking for Aaron Donald the entire day. And again, maybe that was just a Zach Martin effect that he's there, one of the best guards ever, and it's slowing them down. But really, across the board, their offensive line played well. They didn't run the ball super well. But whenever he was targeting CD, he was making acrobatic catches, getting open in space. And then he had a rollout to the right, and CD's just standing there with some airplane signals. Hey, look at me, look at me. I'm just like, yo, what's going on? Somebody guard this man. So I'm very glad I did not play Jordan this week.
Yes. And all that being said, I'm in a dogfight.
Yeah, we definitely got to get into that matchup a little bit today. And then, running backs too. Again, Christian McCaffrey, standard Christian McCaffrey day. It is what it is. Great day. Again, Alvin Kamara. ETN had a great day. But this is before the season, we talked about this a little bit. If you look into a lot of ADP experts, they were saying Alvin Kamara, look at his rush rate, yards per attempt. He doesn't look like the same explosive player. Well, guess what? Week 1 that he comes back in week 4, 21 points, 18, 17, 29, and then 27. He's been running back 1 since coming back to fantasy football, and it hasn't been particularly close. Yep. So shout out to Alvin. Yeah, bro, it's been crazy.
I traded Alvin away, and I think it's one of those trades that ended up working for both parties because I got Breece back. I got Breece and Mark Andrews back, and Breece is gone 28, 20, 21, and then obviously Mark has been marked. But the other person I traded him to got AK. That could have been one of those trades where I think I personally got the better end of the deal, but I don't think anybody's going to be too upset with ending up with AK because you can always keep him or flip him if you want to try to recoup some value if you feel like you lost that exchange. So he's probably one of the better, more valuable assets because he has a very high floor. He's going to be used in the passing game a lot. He's going to get his touches from week to week. And he's obviously a very talented football player. So he has a very high floor, and I think that's a very safe kind of person to have. I mean, I was conservative when I drafted him. I drafted him as a starter and forget it RB2. He's an RB1 now. So even though I was one of the higher people on him, even I was a bit low on what he's been doing. So shout out to him.
Yeah, and then out of the middle of nowhere, somehow out of all the dust in the field, Gus Edwards versus the Arizona Cardinals out of nowhere just up and decides that he wants to be an RB1 for this week. So he has 80 rushing yards, 14 reception yards, which again, that's a great week by itself for a running back. Oh, but by the way, he adds in 3 rushing touchdowns to be RB2 so far on the week with Jahmyr Gibbs and Josh Jacobs up tonight. And he has 29.4 points. So just a freaking great game from Gus Edwards, man. And really, really shout out to the Baltimore Ravens. And you know what? I think this is going to be a really fun stretch down the rest of the season because Austin Eckler had a bounce back today. He had 23 points. Obviously, Joe Mixon had 20 points this last weekend. Oh, shout out to Javonte Williams. A lot of us said before the year that about week 8, week 9, he would start to play better because the ACL injury going to take a while to get over that. He had his best week of the year so far, 18.8 points. So, but y'all know, that's a lot of really great performances. Shout out to them. But y'all know we got to talk about the biggest disappointments of Week 8? Is there anybody that pops off the top of the mind for either you, Jenna, or Jordan for biggest disappointments this week?
I think Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
I think 8 points. It's not nothing, but I think at this point a lot of people were starting him as their RB1, right? Because he kind of played himself into that territory. So if you started him as your RB1, you're not happy. Like me personally, I had Brees and K9, so I was less. If you're going to give me not a lot of points, at least give me something, and I can work with 8, even if it's a down week. But if you're starting him as an RB1, then you're probably banking on a lot more than that, and you probably got disappointed.
But the game script just looked bad, though. He had 8
carries
for 66
Very
yards.
Bad game script. Yep. That's one of those ones you don't overreact. You just chalk it up. And like I said, on a bad week, giving you 8, whatever. But we're getting to that point in the season where week 10, week 9. If you're in a league that starts the playoffs after 14 weeks, then these matchups matter. So that one little stinker, that one, whatever can turn it to have big ramifications on your standings. So, but still, just got to roll with them.
Right.
Yeah, for me, biggest disappointments. Obviously, I have Puka Nacua. That was in my other league. That was a disappointment for sure. Cooper Kupp's performance. George Pickens, you could say, was probably a big underperformance from him this week. Just not getting a lot of targets, especially against the Jags. I would have thought maybe, but low week for him as well. I didn't really feel like anybody on my team played especially bad, although I'll say Brian Robinson has had better weeks. He's had better weeks. This week was all right. It was like a 9-pointer. It's not that far below his average, but he's had like a 28-point week, excuse me. So it's possible for him to score a lot more if he's going up against a worse defense. That was the Broncos where he scored 28. So, but hey, your Broncos not the biggest disappointment of the week. Swipa, what's up?
No, look, I have no thoughts and opinions on that. Again, unless they prove it that they get to 500, I have nothing to say about it because right now you're going to be, losing their placement in the draft.
It's a lose-lose because he doesn't want them to win now. He wants them to tank for a good draft pick.
But again, if they get to 500, then you can get in
pick.
conversation. No, they do. They have their draft pick for this year. They do have their draft pick for this year. The Russell Wilson trade got done last year. But I'll tell you this. It's not that he played bad, y'all. Is that why is Zach Moss still here? Jonathan Taylor had 12 carries for 95 yards. And he wasn't even the RB1 on his own team this week because Zach Moss stole a touchdown. So, Jordan, I just I just don't understand. Like, all right, he's had more since he's come back, more yards, the more efficient ball carrier, looks better. He fits the scheme. He's obviously one of the most explosive backs in the NFL. How long until, or if it's not, maybe it's not resolved. Do you think that this is going to be how it is the rest of the year, where basically you're going to look like a 55-45 snap share for Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss?
This year I do, because I think they're kind of playing both sides of things because AR is out. I don't really think they can do anything with Gardner Minshew. So I think they're not going to not play Jonathan, but at the same time, I'm not going to put a bunch of carries on his body in a bit of a sunk year, so to speak. So I think that's a little bit of what's happening. So I think it could even out to where it's more 60-40, but I don't think Zach Moss is just going to go away, given the state of where the quarterback is and how their team probably doesn't really think they're going to really do much this year. So why not save some blows on JT?
Yeah, well, again, a personal disappointment this week is Cooper Kupp. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. Again, last week versus the Steelers, 6.9 points for Cooper Kupp. This week, 6.10 points for Cooper Kupp. And he only caught 4 of 10 targets for 21 yards versus the Dallas Cowboys. And again, y'all, Dallas is good versus some teams, but their defense isn't anything to write home about. It's just not. So this is the thing. At least versus elite teams. I think Cooper Kupp picks it up. Because he has to. They play versus Green Bay, so he'll have more opportunity. Again, they still obviously have a really good corner with Green Bay, and then they have a bye coming up after that. But y'all, again, if you're a Cooper Kupp manager, is this a point, would you be concerned at all for Cooper Kupp's production and where he is right now?
One more week, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned, too, because Stafford has a thumb sprain that could he's day to day, but he could miss a game. He could either play this week or he could miss multiple games. It's wide spectrum. Stafford typically tries to play through for his entire career. He's played through stuff. He played through an elbow injury all year last year. He's played through several injuries that probably should have, made him miss more time before. But it's a wide range right now of him playing to him playing this week, missing one game, missing multiple games. We just don't know. So I'm more concerned about that. Cooper, I'm not concerned. I would say I would be concerned if it happened one more time. You got 3 games like that in a row, then okay, because we're getting close to playoff time. You don't know what's going to happen. But if the quarterback is there, I'm concerned if Cooper has a down week this week. But if the quarterback's not there, then I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, for so long it felt like Cooper Kupp was just the most fantasy-proof player that there is, just because of the target share and stuff he's going to have. So again, the Dallas Cowboys, you understand, it was the amount of pressure that Matthew Stafford was under. Because Puka, like I said, Puka Nacua didn't have a good game either. So again, it's not that somebody was dominating and the other one was just kind of missing out. So we'll see what happens with that, y'all. But y'all, we got Monday Night Football, and this is a big deal because this is a really, really, really interesting night because there are a lot of players that are going to do a lot of good things to help your team. Or if you're on the other side of that, there's some people that could put you in an L column for this week. So you got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, you got Jacoby Myers. There's a host of players that are available for today. So how are y'all feeling about today's matchup? Who do you trust to deliver you home a win? Or who are you afraid of that might hand you an L tonight?
I have Jacoby Myers versus Josh Reynolds, and the matchup is tied, and that's going to decide the matchup. So I should be good, you would think, but Reynolds, I mean, he's one of Stafford's favorite targets as well. So he can certainly make it interesting. But I'm starting everybody. I'm starting Devontae, starting Jacoby, starting Jahmyr, Goff. I'm starting the players Jacobs. I'm starting the players you would start. I'm just hoping that Jacoby doesn't make me have to, because I'm already the game is here in Detroit. Whether or not I actually go to the game, I'm going to go downtown just to be down there. And so I'm going to be doubly rooting tonight. It's going to be weird because I'm rooting for my team, but then I'm rooting for Jacoby Myers to go off.
Yeah.
You just need about 5 catches, 1 touchdown, but a double-digit lead for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I want us to win 45-42 with Jacoby having a monster game, essentially. So it's going to be a weird rooting interest type of night here in the city, but I'm looking forward to it. It's a great atmosphere.
You want me to go?
Yes, please.
Well, he said he's starting everybody would start. I would start everybody you would start. No, St. Brown, I think, will have a good game, obviously. Mm-hmm. I think Gibbs probably has a good game, too. But I still think, I don't know, Laporta kind of interests me a little bit. Like, I feel like he could kind of have a good game in this one, get you some extra points. If you haven't played a tight end and there's only a couple left, you might as well. Of all the options you have, he's the only one that's playable, really, if you want actual points. So right. I like Laporta of anybody out there. I have Daniel Carlson from my high school as my kicker, so I'll be rooting a little bit for the Raiders, in that sense. But I also want the Lions to win, and I think that they will come out with this win just because I think they're the better team. Although their secondary not so great, Jordan. So you might be in perfect tip-top shape for what you're looking for to happen.
Well, look, y'all, so my other league, I'm up 136-119, and I'm playing versus Jahmyr Gibbs and Josh Jacobs today. Josh Jacobs had a great season, so not super worried, but I got Devontae Adams. So I should be in a good position, but you just don't know. And I'll say this, if I can get 15 points from Devontae tonight, which is, let's say he gets 1 TD, 8 catches or something like that, then I think we're golden. I think we're going to be really good. But, Jahmyr Gibbs had an incredible game last game. That's his only good game of the year, basically, so far. So we'll see if that repeats itself. But, man, I think it's going to be really interesting. Going to be a real big fireworks show today. Who do y'all think wins the game tonight between the Lions and the Raiders?
I have Lions by by 10. I think it'll be, close early, but I think we'll pull away. So us by 10, I think, we're itching for a bounce back. It's indoors. Yeah. Jimmy G's a bit of a pumpkin. Pass rush should be able to get home. Yeah, I got us by like 7 and 10 points. Oh, you're on mute then.
Oh, I think I said it already, but I have the Lions. Yeah.
Lions.
Yeah, I got the Lions as well. Should be about I would say I'm gonna say 31 to 24. I think it can be my final score prediction for the night for the Lions. I think that the Raiders will put up a little bit of a fight. They're kind of good. They're just they just aren't good at the same time. Like they're kind of mid. But yeah, y'all. This has been a great episode, y'all. X Factor Fantasy Football. We will be back here on Wednesday, y'all. We have a whole bunch of stuff that's going on all over the place, y'all. But you know what? Jetta's doing a great job, making great work. And obviously got Jordan flying around the country, doing everything that he's doing, y'all. So I appreciate y'all being available for everything. And yeah, we will tap in soon. See y'all later.
See you guys Wednesday.